Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile, and this is the Aune S9C Pro, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Aune Audio for providing the S9C Pro for review. To greatly appreciate it, Aune Audio, you rock. So the Aune Audio S9C Pro, this will set you back $700 from your bank account. It is a DAC amp preamp, and it used dual Sabre ES9068AS DAC chips. It has a phase-locked loop clock synchronization, a fully discrete amplifier with twin JFETs per channel, 50-watt toroidal linear transformer. It'll do 32768 DSD512 in MQA. It has dual tuning modes. You can have it in standard or pure mode. More about that when we talk about the sound descriptions. And then it has 3 headphone outputs. You get XLR 4.4 or quarter-inch 6.35. And then it has 2 variable outputs of XLR and RCA. The S9C Pro is available in black or silver, and you can also get it with Bluetooth or non-Bluetooth. We have the non-Bluetooth black edition for review. The S9C Pro is very well built. It's large, it's heavy, and it's not going to go anywhere on your desk. You get the typical arch from Aune, which is a nice look, and then it's very well laid out. On the front here, you have a multifunction volume knob, a big, huge LCD screen, and then your remote reader, and then 4.4, 6.35, and XLR outputs for headphones. On the back side here, you have your power supply input, your power switch, USB in, optical in, coax in, AES in, and then an external clock input, XLR output, RCA output. Very well built. Nicely built, heavy and hefty. It's not going to go anywhere on the desk. Will take up quite a bit of space. You also get a very small remote control, which will control all the functions, being able to change your tuning modes and changing your inputs and the volume. You get a USB cable provided, and you get a standard power cord. The Aune S9C Pro has good power for the headphone output. It has 32 ohms. It has 5,780 milliwatts unbalanced and 1,445 milliwatts single-ended. At 100 ohms, it goes to 1,960 milliwatts balanced and 490 milliwatts single-ended. Going to 300 ohms, you go down to 672 milliwatts unbalanced and 168 milliwatts on single-ended. And then at 600 ohms, it goes to 336 milliwatts balanced and only 84 milliwatts single-ended. So from about 300 ohms and higher, it will struggle, but 300 ohms and down, it does great. It works really well with planar headphones, but those pesky, harder to drive dynamics, something like a Beyerdynamic DT 880 600 ohm or something along those lines, it's going to struggle. It drives them, but you really have to get high on the volume knob. It's not optimal for those hard demanding products. But it drove all the planars that I have in house. Any of the hard ones like Hi-Fi Sundar, Hi-Fi Aria Stealth, you name it, no problems whatsoever. And then any of the dynamics, anything from like an Audio-Technica R70X and down, had no problems with Sennheiser HD8XXs or HD 600, 660 S2s, anything of the sort. It drove those very easily. IEM-wise, it drove very well. Also, some of the more sensitive IEMs did get a little bit of hissing at times, but that was kind of a few and far between. So the tuning modes that the Aune S9C Pro has are very unique. So it has mode 1, which is the standard mode, and then mode 2, which is pure mode. And you get to choose one or the other. So the differences are the standard mode is a little bit warm, a little bit lush, and a little bit on the cozy side. It's not... It's very close and comfortable, and things just sound very natural and thick and warm, but it sounds a little bit too close. There's not a lot of space. On pure mode, it opens it up. It widens out the stage. You get more air and space, and you kind of lose that little bit of stuffiness. And to me, it just sounds more natural and accurate. Tone and timbre still stays there, and you get a little bit better details and resolution. And overall, pure mode was my preferred signature. So, how does the Aune S9C Pro sound? Well, I used pure mode as my preferred, and with the S9C Pro, you get a very nice extension in the bass. Sub bass, you get some rumble and grumble. There's a little bit there of just you get that enjoyment, the part. It just rumbles and grumbles you a little bit. And then the mid bass and upper bass, you have this nice texture, good punch and slam. And all throughout the bass, there's nice authority and power and very well controlled. And yet it doesn't dominate the rest of the mix. It still sounds very quality, and yet you get very good quantity. And it has this neutral approach to it, but yet at the same time, it has this dynamic presence and just this enjoyment factor. And it's just a very bass that's alive and has a power and an authority to it, with good details, excellent resolution, and very good tone and timbre. Going into the mids, that tone and timbre remains, and everything sounds natural and true and accurate, and the details and the resolution are there. And at the same time, that engagement and that dynamicism is still there, and it just engages you and puts you in the moment. And it just has this ability to keep your attention and make you go, wow, this sounds really good. This sounds accurate. This sounds true. Instruments sound realistic. They sound real, and it's easy to tell the differences between instruments, and vocalists have this presence. And yet at the same time, even though they have this power and this authority and this presence, it sounds proper. It's not overloading, overbearing, overpowering. The music's not too boosted. It plays well with the bass, and they play very well together, and everything's very cohesive. And then going into the treble, the same thing. It extends nicely, and you get this nice presence, and it has nice tone and timbre, and everything sounds realistic. Very good details and resolution. And the only nitpick that I have with the treble is that it's a little bit on the soft side. It has a little bit of a rounded tendency to it, and so at times you don't get that bite and that crispness. It has a very natural presentation, a very accurate presentation, but at times it can be just a little bit soft. And I wish that had a little bit more snap and energy to it. But other than that, I love the bass, the mids, and the treble, and the way that they play together, and that they involve each other without trying to compete with each other and push one out of the way. They're very cohesive and balanced and even. And the soundstage of the S9C Pro is excellent. It does a good job of portraying sizes of venues, whether it be super small or super large, and everything kind of flows on the stage and engages you, and you can pick it apart, and you can go, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there. Things move across, you can track them with precision. It's very good with its placement, very good with depth and layering. Things just play with each other as they're intended on the stage. You can pick it apart and go, that's there, that's there. Oh, that moved. Oh, they're in front and behind each other. And it's just tracking across the stage in this musical experience. I just love the way the S9C Pro does the stage. It's probably my favorite part of the presentation. Tone and timbre is very good. Everything sounds natural and accurate. There's no questioning about what an instrument is. You can keep that instrument and track it throughout the whole mix, and you can follow it through with no problems. It doesn't get crowded out, doesn't get separated out, and Everything plays together properly and sounds naturally and accurate. And then details and resolution are fantastic. For the price point, I was really impressed with all the information that's given, and then how much and how well it's refined and defined, and how you can pinpoint it and really nitpick the music because of how much details and how well it's resolved with the S9C Pro. So the S9C Pro, how's it compared to a couple other items that I have on the desk? Well, I have another Aune in-house, and it's going to be hard to see here on screen, but it's right here. And that is the Aune X1S GT. Now the X1S GT is about half the price tag. And unfortunately, the X1S GT just doesn't compete with the S9C Pro. The S9C Pro is significantly an upgrade to the X1S GT. And the X1S GT is a very good DAC amp. I was rather impressed with how well it does for its price point. And there's a reason why it sits on my desk. But the S9C Pro is just superior in all ways. Tone and timbre is more accurate and true. The soundstage is bigger and larger and more accurate with depth and layering, and imaging is more pinpoint. And tone and timbre is more natural and accurate. Detail retrieval and resolution is significantly better. And overall, the S9C Pro is a step up. How does it compare to the Mytek Liberty DAC 2, which I use as my reference for all reviews? Now, the Mytek Liberty DAC 2 does not have as much of power in the headphone output as the S9C Pro, and also it does not have as many headphone outputs. But the Mytek Liberty DAC 2 does have some other capabilities that the Aune doesn't have, and that is it's a little bit more defined in its detail retrieval and resolution, and it has a little bit better natural tone and timbre with air and space, especially in the treble. You get a little bit of that energy and a little bit of that edge and crispness and bite that the Aune kind of smooths and softens just a little bit. So the Mytek is a step up, but the Aune S9C Pro, as I was listening to it, I kept asking myself, could I listen to this every day? Could I use it as a reference for my reviews? Could it replace the Mytek? Or could I use it if I didn't have the Mytek? And I said, yes, I could. The Aune S9C Pro is that good. I could use it as my reference DAC and amp and be happy with it. If I didn't have the Mytek, I'd be using the Aune S9C Pro. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links and notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you contact channel, follow channel, support channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. And I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you give to the channel. It's much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out the links down below. You can do that through PayPal and Venmo with one-time gifts, or through Patreon and YouTube memberships, and buy me a coffee through monthly subscriptions. And if you do support the channel, you can get access to my private Discord servers and other benefits. So if you would, please consider supporting the channel. It would be much appreciated. Also, check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of other information on there, like music recommendations, gear recommendations, and all that kind of stuff is listed down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.